Today we're gonna see even more fantasy romance recommendations for newbies, and we will be doing it based on 4 different points of entry: romance, young adult, new adult, and adult fantasy. And we'll be seeing 8 different book recommendations that will depend on the entry point, the level of sweetness or spiciness or world building that you'd like. And we'll start with a book that is from a very known author, but this series somehow it's not really popular, and it's the Green Creek Saga by DJ Clune. So first book, Wolf Song. This is a paranormal fantasy romance, and in here we will have wolves and mainly warlocks. It currently has a 4.36 stars on Goodreads, which is pretty good. It's gonna be a very emotional read and also like a very cozy one in a way, although our characters suffer. An incredible blend between a character and a plot-driven story. We'll have a little bit of a chosen one, friends to lovers, and it's a queer story that it's really engaging. And the story will kick off with this very cozy, foresty vibe with this guy, Ox, which is our main character, just living his life, and then one day this weird family comes and moves in very closely to him, and so from that point onwards, like the relationship between these two families will get even closer. But then one day something really wrong happens, and the story unfolds from there. The different books are told under the point of view of different characters, and in each of these books there's a certain love stories. And then we go to a concluded duology that it's fairly new called These Hollow Vows. This is a little bit of a blend between A Court of Thorns and Roses and The Cruel Prince, let's say. It's at its core a slow burn, like a little bit of a chosen one, a love triangle, and a little bit of an enemies to lovers. So it really has some of the most popular tropes within romance, I think. The world building, it's fairly easy to get into because it's a portal fantasy, so you just need to understand that, like human world and then fantasy world, fae world. And because we will spend a lot of time with our main character and the relationships that she is building, and it currently has a 4.07. And These Hollow Vows will tell the story of our main girl Bree, who lives in the human world, right? And she hates the fae, and then one day her sister will get kidnapped by this fae, and she will need to start this quest of saving her sister and just falling in love, fighting between who is good, who is bad in this world, and find herself and her own, presence. The thing that I really loved about this series, it's not just the relationship with her and, like these two male characters that was like really slow burning, but also that we will have 2 different courts within the Fae land. So we will have kind of like the good ones and then the bad ones, Golden Sealy and then Shadow Sealy. I thought that was fascinating. And also there's going to be kind of like a quest of finding mythical artifacts, and that's always kind of like a hit. Then we jump to the next category, young adult, and we will start with a book that honestly started reading at the beginning of last year, and it kind of like bring back my love for reading, and it is Strange the Dreamer. This is a duology, it's also concluded, and it's such a whimsical read. It's somewhat slow and fairly character driven. In terms of magic, we will have this soft magic system, so like people has powers, and these powers are different, but there are not a lot of rules. It's a little bit of a coming to age, a slow burn, and almost a quest. Of course, Strange the Dreamer has a 4.28 stars, and it has been rated by more than 100,000 users. Fair warning though, it really has a little bit of a descriptive prose, and Strange the Dreamer will mainly follow 2 points of view here. The first one is going to be of Laszlo, this extra cinema role who really is a little bit of a misfit. He has lived all of her life in complete obsession about this magical city called Weep, and so no one really believes that Weep exists. And one day people from Weep comes into Laszlo's village seeking help because something really bad is happening, and they need help from outside people to help them resolve it. And it's in that point we will meet the other character who lives within Weep, and like the story unfolds from there. Then we move to another concluded duology which I absolutely adored, and it's A Flame in the Mist. This is an Asian inspired story. Mainly it's going to be this very feudal Japanese setting, and we will be following our girl as she does a little bit of an impersonation, honestly. So it will be kind of like you finding yourself, like growing up and fighting. I really loved the romance that it's here. It's an enemies to lovers, and it's really a slow burn. I loved how witty the characters were. I really believe that it's an amazing blend between a character and a plot-driven story. It currently has a 3.85 stars on Goodreads, and it has been rated by a little bit more than 44,000 users. And Flame in the Mist will follow our girl Mariko, who is about to get wet, and along the way she gets attacked and a lot of people gets killed. And so from that point onwards, she will set herself on a revenge path. But in order to do so, she will need to impersonate herself as a boy. And while doing so, we will see how Mariko will need to play a role that really transcends this accident. And then we move to the next category, noodled, which is like, yeah, stories are gonna become super spicy real quick, and you know, you need to be kind of like prepared for the hotness that will happen. And we will, of course, talk about a book by Sarah J. Maas, Throne of Glass. This is a concluded series, 7 books, so you will have a lot to read here. Throne of Glass, it's widely popular. It has a 4.21 stars, and it has been rated by more than 700,000 users. And this is a series that really changes a lot. Like, first 2-3 books, I guess, there's one way, and then from book 3 onwards, there's such a bigger jump, but I really believed that the world building and the characters were really fascinating. First book, it's a little bit more about a tournament, you know, a chosen one, and Throne of Glass will tell the story of our girl Selena, and she is this very incredible warrior, but you know, something happened in the past, and now she's kind of like a slave, and one day the prince of this kingdom comes seeking Selena's help because he wants her to be his champion in a set of tournaments that are about to happen. And when Selena gets there, what she will find, it's not only that the tournaments are very, very difficult, but there's also a mystery to unravel. And then we go to another saga that it's very long. It's gonna be 8 books long this year. The last one will be published. This is a bully romance, and we're talking about the Zodiac Academy. First book, The Awakening. There's gonna be a lot of romance, there's gonna be a lot of slow burns, and overall a lot of pain. And the story will kick off with our 2 girls living in the human world, and you know, they don't knowing that they are fae. But then one day, this very sexy professor comes and gets them and sends them into the fae world, into this academy. And there, they will need to hone their magical abilities. They're for to be mastered fire, air, water, and earth. And although they have a great potential, they are also in a grave danger, because it seems that they are the heirs of the fae throne, but people were not really, you know, great fans from this king. And now, kind of like the power has been restructured, and the houses that now are holding that power wants the power to remain with them. Zodiac Academy has a 3.91 stars, and it has been rated by a little bit more than 65,000 users. And we move to the last category, which is adult fantasy. And in here, I reckon the books that we will see have less amount of romance, but you know, the romance plays a core element within the story and the motivations of our characters. And we will start with an incredible standalone called The Priory of the Orange Tree. It currently has a 4.23 stars, and it has been rated at more than 100,000 users, so it's widely known. It's this fight good and evil, and we will be seeing different characters across this land, and the points of view are very different, which I thought was really, really interesting. There's one of the characters that really has this romance motivation. It really kind of like made the characters. And The Priory of the Orange Tree will talk about this land with a massive evil. It's about to emerge, this dragon that is really, really evil. And one of the most interesting things about this book is that we will talk about the East and the West, and both parts have a really different conception about what is this evil and how to approach it. And so we will follow different characters. One of them is Dragon Rider, and the other one is this kind of sorcerer, but she is acting as a secret protector of the queen. And we conclude this series with Crescent City, Book 1, House of Earth and Blood. This is an unconcluded trilogy. Book 1 and 2 are already out, also very popular. It currently has a 4.48, and it has been rated by almost 300,000 users. Crescent City is such a difficult book to get into, I think, because the first 100 pages, like, there's a lot of world building, a lot of stuff is happening, but once you get there, you know, it's really worth it, it's really emotional, there's a lot of stuff happening, it's pretty plot driven, and you know, we will get to know also our main character, and we will see her suffer and advance and, you know, mature, but a lot of stuff will happen. The stakes will be super, 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 super high, and of course there's gonna be a slow burn, and it's gonna be a chosen one. This book, though, it's not just fantasy. I think it has such an incredible mystery thriller vibe. Crescent City will tell the story of our girl Bryce. She is half human, half fae, and one day something terrible happens and she will be deeply chained, but you know, she tries to move on, But then some years after that, something wrong starts to happen again in this city, and she will be immersed in this investigation. She will be meeting this angel that it's very powerful, and together they will start to track the different clues and overcome what is happening. This world, it's so big. I don't really believe that you need to get all of that. And if you want to see what are the top 5 fantasy romance that I read last year, I will link that video down below in the description. And that was it for today. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.